Hey guys, today I'm going to start my video series about setting up a development environment on Windows Subsystem for Linux. And when I switched over to WSL, as it's also known as, about a year ago, my development experience just became a whole lot easier. And that's because the code that I'm running locally matches the server environment. During the build process, there's not any steps that I have to do manually, or maybe I have to hack them to make them work on Windows. Everything just works sort of out of the box once you configure it. Also, we're not dual booting. The advantage of WSL is that you have your Windows environment and then you have a Linux environment inside of Windows to where your Windows apps work, your Linux apps work. You don't have to configure anything like networking or drivers or anything like that. It all just works out of the box. So, step one of this series is going to be installing WSL itself. And it's really, really easy to do. You do have to have Windows version 10 or 11. And I wrote down the build numbers here because there is no way I was going to remember it. You have to have Windows 10 or 11, version 1903 or higher, and build 18362 or higher. If you're not sure what you have, you can press the Windows key and R at the same time, and then type in winver. It's WINVER. Press OK, and it will tell you your version and your build number here. So as you can see, I already have a high enough version and build number. If you don't, you can download it from Windows Update or look for the build number and download that. So since we're good to go here, I'm just going to go ahead and get started with installing WSL. First thing you're going to need to do is open PowerShell. So if you type down here in the search bar and you just type for power, it shows up here, Windows PowerShell. You're going to want to run that as administrator. So now we have this open. You could run it in command prompt, but it's a little bit easier to do it in PowerShell. So the only thing that you'll need to do is type WSL -- install. And when I hit enter, it's going to start installing it on my system as soon as I press that, permission button. So we'll just wait for it to get to 100%. And by default, it will install Ubuntu. I really recommend Ubuntu. It's good for beginners and advanced Linux administrators alike. It's just a really solid system, and a lot of servers run on Ubuntu. So it's telling me that the operation will not be successful until the system is rebooted, but that's really all there is to it. Windows Subsystem is installed now. I'll go ahead and reboot, and I will take a video again and show you what it's like after we reboot. So I'll see you there. Okay guys, I went ahead and rebooted, and now you're going to find that you have an app called Ubuntu on your system. So if you open your search bar and type in Ubuntu, it comes up. You'll just click on that. I already opened it. It opens this terminal here, and when it first opens, it says this may take a few minutes, and it wants you to create a default Unix user account. So what this is doing is creating like the home directory and stuff on your Linux installation. So I'll just name this one Scott. And it's creating my account. It wants me to enter a password here, which won't show while you're typing. And then we'll confirm the password. It says installation successful. So now we're shown this message, and we're presented with a Linux shell. And anytime you open Ubuntu, it's just this command line access, which is really cool because you can open more terminals in here. You can open PowerShell, you can open command prompt, you can also open more Ubuntu terminals. But now I basically have a full Ubuntu install on my system. So right now I'm in my home directory, and I can run Linux commands on here, just like if I was SSH'd into the server. So this is my home profile. I can go to the root server and see what we got there. And you'll see you have all of your standard Linux stuff. So this is step one. Once you have this up on your system, then we can go ahead and start installing software like Apache, PHP, MySQL, PHP, other stuff. WSL, I highly recommend the WSL extension for Visual Studio Code, but we'll get into that into other videos. Go ahead and install WSL on your computer. Let me know how you did. If you have any questions, I'll keep my eye in the comments and try to help you out with them. Thanks so much for watching my video. We'll see you in the next one.